Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain John Garland of Screaming Reels Fishing Charters. Welcome to Bass Pro Shops. I'm here today basically telling everybody about what I do, and that is feed the cats. I love catfishing. That's what I'm considered professional at, okay? I've been doing it for quite a few years, and I'm going to discuss rod and reel, how to use cast net, how to use a gill net. We'll talk about hooks. We'll talk about different techniques that I use to catch these big catfish here in Virginia, okay? First, I want to talk about rod and reel. I like a rod and reel that has a responsive tip. As you can see, as I pull down on the rod, how that tip will bend. Sometimes the catfish are very finicky. If they feel resistance, they will let the bait go, okay? So if you've got a softer tip, you've got less resistance. But back here, I have the muscle to get them up from the structure. But you can see how loudly that rod tip will bend. But the back of my rod, the butt of this rod is solid, okay? This is a fiberglass rod with 11 eyelets on it. This is the Patriot rod by Mad Catch, one of my sponsors. It's a very nice rod and reel. I'm really enjoying using these on the water. My reel, I use a Shimano Dakota. It's an ergonomic type of reel, smaller, but for my hand it feels good. Seal stainless steel ball bearings, 6:3:1 gear ratio. It can really crank in that line fast, especially when you're fishing deep holes. My line, I like to use mono mainly. This is professional grade, premium chrome, big game trilene, in a 50-pound class. I like to use an 80-pound fluorocarbon leader, right? It's got good memory, also it's abrasive resistance. I use a Team Catfish 10-aught or 8-aught circle octopus hook. That's a real beefy hook because we use big baits to bring in the big fish. You know, I always tell people a big fish will make a movement to catch a bait, but they want a big meal. They don't want a pretzel, they want a whopper. So we'll put a piece of meat on here, big gizzard shad, a lot of blood, a lot of guts, fresh. Bait's gotta be fresh to catch a big catfish, okay? They've been doing it for a while. They've been in the river system for a long time, and you can't really fool them, so you gotta give them what they want, when they want it. And here again, it's gotta be fresh. I'll use an eel from time to time when I can get them during the spring and the summer, but mainly I'll use the shad, a gizzard shad. Right now, springtime is a hot time on our river here on the James. We've got the herring coming in, the hickory shad coming in, the big American shad coming in, along with the white perch. So what's happening before the pre-spawn, the catfish are feeding up, and therefore they got something that they're not getting year-round. They can get it this time of the year only, during the spring. So when you got a variety of different baits, you get a variety of bites on your baits. So there you have it. For my tackle, you can see I've got what is called a river sinker. And it's a flat sinker, and it will lay on the bottom, and the current will run over it. And it's a no-roll type of sinker. So the current will actually go across the top of it, and it's connected to a sinker slide. And mainly when it's on the bottom of the river, that line will go through that slide, so that catfish will not feel that resistance, okay? And it thinks it's got a free meal. And when that happens, you're more apt to catch that catfish. Because remember what I said about a very stiff rod, if they feel that resistance, they will let the bait go. Okay, so there you have it as far as Captain John's rod and reel combo is concerned. This is what I like. A nice long rod to make a good long cast, or you can make short casts with it too. And I'll fish 8 to 10 rods, and they are in rod hope, okay? And I always lock down my reel when I put my baits in the river. And I've got a tight drag, but it's not extremely tight. Okay, so when that catfish take it, you can hear that clicker system. Okay, and then you can always tighten down the drag during the course of the fight. But there you have it as far as my arsenal, as far as my tackle that I use on the river. Now, I mentioned fresh bait, so I like to throw a cast net this time of the year. Catch fresh bait, put it in my live well, and I'll be using live bait to catch these catfish, flatheads and blues. So I'm going to demonstrate how I use my cast net to catch bait. This is an 8-foot net. I'm 6'5" tall, so it doesn't matter. You can choke up on them if you're shorter. But I'm going to show you a way that I use it. This is straight out the box. This is a Bet Super Pro cast net. I'm going to put a loop on the lantern itself, connected around my wrist. I'm right-handed, and you can see what I'm doing like a lasso. I'm just bringing up a series of loops here in my right hand, just like this, okay? I'll get to the collar, and I'm getting right here to the neck of the net, and I'm pulling it up, making sure that it's not tangled on the skirt down here. This looks pretty good. All right, so everything is in my right hand. I'm going to go down on the throat of my net, about a quarter of a way down, and I've got it in my right hand, and I'm going to go get a leading edge on my skirt, and I'm taking it to my right hand, still on that leading edge. I'm coming down, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to back it up, and I'm going to make a light catch. Doesn't have to be hard. Okay, just to get it to parachute out on the water. Okay. I've got some things here that's impeding me from really throwing it, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. All right, so once the cast net hits the water, I go down and I'm pulling it in. Notice what's happening with my weights? It's choking up. So now, the bait fish is in the body of the net, right? That's a beautiful thing to see. I call them silver dollars. They're nice and fresh and frisky. I grab the net, go to my live well, shake them in the live well, or put them in my cooler. All right? There you have it on the cast net. Next method that I use is called a gill net. You got to have a license to use a gill net, but this is very effective. We use this, I personally use it 85% of the time. Of course, when you use a gill net, you got to have some type of flotation device so people can see it when they're on the water so they won't run over your net, and for safety reasons too, okay? On a gill net, you got floats. And what will happen, let me unravel this right quick. And I'm not going to pull it completely out for you, but I just want you to see what will happen with a gill net. A buddy of mine, he's no longer with us, ladies and gentlemen, but he bought this for me. And in remembrance of Tommy, I'll use this from time to time. It's good to have a backup net. Okay. I've got this. Be patient with me. Okay. So you can see I've got a weight here on one end. And what happened when I deploy this gill net, this weight, just like my river sinkers, will lay down. Okay? And here's the float end right here. Okay? That'll be up on top of the surface floating around. All right, these little knockers right here, they'll be floating also. And what will happen when the fish swim into the net, these knockers will start jumping. Boom, 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 indicating that bait fish is hitting the gill net. And thus, I'll let it sit out there from 5 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on how scarce or how thick the bait fish are. And I want to mention this too, because this is my float line right here on the top. But right up under here is a lead line, right up under my float line. And that's on the bottom where their weight is. So there you have it. This is called a gill net, right? You got to have a license. The license here in Virginia, I think it might be $10, $12. But make sure you get your license. And this is a gill net. This is another technique to use to catch fresh bait to feed those hungry catfish. All right? Okay. I'm gonna put this back in my container here.
So I told Stephanie while we're here.
All right, I'm going to talk to you about fishing hooks. Now, I was at the Kentucky Catfish Convention, and I was turned on to these Catfish Pro tournament grade hooks. Now, this is a double circle octopus hook. Now, if you look at that hook, look at that offset on that hook right there. That's a 10-odd. Here again, you know, you got a nice gap in there. You can put a nice piece of shad on there, but look at that offset. So you rarely hook a fish in the eye. That hook will hook in the top of the mouth or in the corner of the mouth 95% of the time. These are the tournament grade Catfish Series Pro hooks, okay? And I was telling you about that sinker slide that I use to connect with my weight. We have those here at Bass Pro Shop. You can get a series of 6, 10, or maybe 50, but you connect your weight to that, all right? Now, what I use are these little beads right here. When I'm putting my leaders on, they protect your knot. That's mainly what it's all about, just protecting the knot so it won't get beat up, because we'll use 10, 12, 16 ounce river weights. This one right here is a 10 ounce river weight. It's a heavy piece of lead, but when you're fishing current on the James River, that water's moving all the time. 6 hours going out, 6 hours coming back in, and you need something that's gonna stay in the area where those catfish are, okay? And this is a no-roll sinker, okay? All right, thank you very much.